Again, we're going to cover some other parts of pruning, and I want to make sure that we understand the difference between the kind of pruning we do out here and the kind of pruning you might do at home for larger size fruit, and the kind of pruning that you would find in a commercial orchard. And so if you go to a commercial orchard, you're going to find, oh, we don't prune nearly as heavy as they do. And the answer is no, we don't. And the reason why we don't is because a farmer, there's maybe him and a couple other workers, and he doesn't have the labor to go through later on in the spring and prune again. So he has to get all his pruning done during the winter time, because that's the only way he can maximize his labor force. And so he has to do part of his thinning and his pruning during the winter time. And so his pruning, our pruning would look like this, okay? We're cutting out the top of the tree, okay? We're gonna cut to 5 buds, okay? And this one has hardly any that's not leaf buds on it. We're gonna cut out the dead wood, okay? I know I'm jumping all over here, okay? But I'm cutting out the dead wood, okay? And I'm topping the tree, okay? Now, that's kind of how ours would look. Maybe even busier than this, so it has actually more stuff on it. This is dead, by the way. We cut that off. What would happen in a commercial orchard is they would come through and they'd make sure there's no crossing branches. They'd make sure that they had very little coming out here, okay? They're going to do part of their pruning and their thinning all at one time, so that they don't have to go back and thin again, and they definitely don't have time to go back and prune. And so, and they'll do very little thinning comes thinning time, and so their tree is going to look a lot less busy than ours, okay? And they're growing a bigger size fruit. We're only growing something that's 2.5 inches big, or a tennis ball size fruit. They want a softball size fruit. So they're growing a bigger fruit, so they've got to thin more and prune more for weight and that kind of a thing. And they'll put like 2 peaches on this branch and 2 peaches on this branch, where we'll hang twice that many, okay, and maximize our production by doing so. So this is the difference between what we do and what is done on the commercial market. I can prune some more here on what we do, and then you can compare the two right next to each other, okay. We're done with that branch. We probably take a little off the top of this one, okay. We'll do more thinning, that's true. We'll do more thinning. But what happens if we have a freeze between now and thinning? Well, we would lose some, but we wouldn't lose our crop. What would happen to a farmer? Well, he's already pruned it off, so he would lose his crop, and it would be sad, okay. But we have a labor force that we can do this with, and so we will. And if I were at home doing my own fruit, this is exactly how I would do it. I would hedge on the side of safety and fruit production. And I probably wouldn't prune until I had bloom, because a lot of us can't see spurs, we can't see buds and that kind of stuff until they're out. So I wouldn't prune until I had bud structures on my tree. It's just no sense in it. Besides that, it's nice and warm out here this time of year. It's a lot funner to prune in the warmth than it is in the freezing snow. Do you see the difference between this and this little thing where I have hardly anything on it? There's your difference.